Hello, my name is Paul Yoder, Field Agronomist for Pioneer. In today's video, I want to talk to you about some cornfields that were planted in that May 13th time frame this year. If you have any corn that was planted in that time frame, you may see some of your fields that look pretty sporadic, a lot of variation in growth, and I just want to explain to you what I'm seeing, at least in the fields that I've been walking. So in some cases, you may have a very nice stand, absolutely nothing to do. In other cases, you may have some plants that are just starting to emerge and come up, and in those cases they should be fine. And in other situations you may have areas where you just have nothing, and when you go to dig you may find just kernels. In some cases you may see that the radicle has started to develop, and the radicle is basically the root part of the kernel as it is growing. But what I show you here is if you look at this kernel and you look at it close at the very tip, you can see it's browned and pinched in. That is a sign that that radicle is dead, and thus this kernel will no longer go further in development. You'll also notice that there is no shoot or mesocotyl on this kernel. It has not started to emerge, and I'm seeing some kernels that actually have a very, very long radicle with, again, no shoot. In other cases, I'm finding kernels that look like maybe you just planted it today. And in that case, if you look really close, again at that radicle, at that tip, you can kind of see where it's browned and basically rotten and dead. So even though the seed is for the most part firm, that kernel will no longer develop and is dead. So what does this mean? How did this happen? Again, looking at this particular kernel and the others that I have described, if you think back during the May 13th time frame, a few days prior to that, we had nighttime temperatures below 30. We had a lot of the days where they were cloudy and the highs in the 50s, night times in the 30s. The soil prior to the May 13th time frame, we had been getting some rain, so there was adequate moisture in the soil. Then we got more rain after that, and we had saturation. So my belief is, and this is kind of a true symbol, that we had a chilling effect. If you've heard anyone talk about imbibing cold water, that you do not want that around 24-48 hours after the seed has been planted. Otherwise you'll have this in the fact that it will basically rupture the cell membranes of that kernel. It disrupts the cell development of the kernel and the plant development overall, and thus you'll get situations like this. So unfortunately in that time frame, again, we had cold weather, we had additional rain, saturated soils, and in some cases probably reduced amount of oxygen due to the fact that some of the soil profile was very compacted, if you will, and thus caused a lot of the scenarios that I'm seeing today. But it was heavily related to cold weather, cold nighttime, a cold drink of water when it imbibed it the first 24-48 hours, and unfortunately, like in this case, it just damaged that kernel enough to where it's not going to grow. If you take some stand counts at this stage of the game of the year, if you've got around 24,000 population that's fairly even, I would keep it. Anything below that, I would probably go in and tear up and replant. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to call your Pioneer seed agent or agronomist or territory manager, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.
That concludes this Pioneer Agronomy video podcast. Visit our page on pioneer.com and follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more agronomy insights.